Hello, friends. Welcome to our today's Twitter Spaces on FNO Pe Charcha. I'm Shankar Mukherjee, your host today, and along with me, the other hosts are Manas and Rajat. Hi, Rajat.
Hi, Shankar.
Yes, and along with us, we have Manas and Shiva Jayachandran, who is the founder of OI Pulse. Hi, Shiva.
Hey Shankar, hey Manas, Rajat, and Harsh, how are you guys in the evening today?
Good evening. So, friends, the markets have been pretty volatile at all these times. People have been thinking, should we trade for positional? Should we trade in day trading or should we do scalping? So, one of the most less risky trading strategy is scalping. And who can teach us or talk about it better than Shiva? So today we have with us Shiva or Sivakumar Jayachandran, who is the founder of OI Pulse, a very popular person in Twitter, as well as he does a lot of courses as well, online courses. So welcome Shiva to our show, and along with Shiva, we have all of you here to learn from him. So welcome Shiva once again.
Thanks, Shankar.
Friends, before we start, let me tell you a bit of disclaimer that whatever we are discussing here is completely for knowledge purpose, and these are not at all any recommendation. So let's start our journey. So, Shiva, how did you start your trading journey? The reason why we are asking you this question is this will help us get inspired with your story, which you shared with us.
Thanks, Shankar. And as any a trader who would have got into the market, I believe we all would have been working somewhere. We wanted to get some passive income. So in that process, we wanted to earn some money from the markets, and I get into the market as an investor rather than a trader. So during the 2007 and 8, when the market was at a boom, I entered into the market thinking that I should be able to make some passive income by investing in companies. So I used to buy a lot of stocks. Initially, my plan was to get into the market with 1 lakh. But somehow when the portfolio was going down, then I immediately realized, okay, we needed to do the averaging and other things without realizing there is a lot of perils in the market. And as a novice investor who doesn't know anything about investing at all I was doing is just an hearsay, investing the money, whatever that I was getting it, and without even realizing whether the stock will be moving up or down, without knowing anything, just kept on investing. Within a year, then my investment have become 10 lakh, and the portfolio became 1 lakh due to the Lehman crisis and other things, which I didn't realize it at all. Then I realized, okay, the investing is not going to be my cup of tea. At least I will be getting this 1 lakh back, and then took that 1 lakh back. Thought that let me do and trading to recover the losses. So whatever the losses which I incurred through the investing, I thought let me do a trading, especially in the FNO, and then try to recover. That is a quick way of making money. So always people, if you ask them, why are you getting into the FNO space? Because they know intraday I can make 1%, 2%. There are people who says that I can make 10% or 20% returns also intraday. So that is the kind of rewards that the FNO space gives you. So that's the reason many people get into the FNO. But without the proper knowledge, almost 80 to 90% of the crowd get vanished in the first 1 or 2 years. The reason is once you are run out of money, you will not be able to keep pumping in the funds again and again. Then you go back to your regular routine. So very rarely you will be seeing people who's going to be losing money and then coming back into the market, trying their luck again, understanding the nuances, and then keep scaling up. So that's how my investment and the trading journey started, almost in 2008. Something which started as a passive income, then overall lost a lot of money during the 2007 to 2014-15 period. Then slowly started understanding how the FNO market operates. And being an option buyer, it is all the more difficult compared to the sellers, because option buyers, you have a myth, right? Option buyers don't make money in the market, and it is going to be very difficult to make money. So you are going to be, you are challenging yourself against the odds. then somehow like understood this is the time we needed to play, this is the time we should not be playing, and also understood scalping is something which is suiting me. I needed to stick to scalping rather than being an intraday player. So that's the game which we needed to identify, and once you identify, just stick to the game. That's how it started, Sanka.
Great. Like you rightfully said, that your style, you found that your style which fits in is scalping. So that's what, again, for most of the audience, we should also realize that everyone has their own style. After doing a lot of practice, like what Shiva said, it makes sense to find out where your soul lies. And if that's scalping, yes, it will be. So,
Wonderful journey, yeah, Shiva. So, coming to our topic, so can you explain our audience like what exactly scalping is? As we have heard, like we take quick trades like buying and selling at very quick intervals. So, can you explain like what is scalping to our audience, especially in options?
Sure, Manas. Scalping is usually a style or a pattern which has been normally called in the trading, wherein an intraday trader who gets into a particular trade, who wanted to make a quick bucks based on the price momentum, based on various indicators which he use, he will be looking at to get into the trade, hold the trade for 1 to 3 minutes, or like a maximum of 30 minutes in any kind of a market, maybe a market which is going to be volatile, or maybe a market which is a dull and a boring, maybe a market which is trending. So he will be looking to get into a trade, make some quick bucks, and then exit. So to make it even simpler, what a normal trader does is he normally goes into a trade, buys at maybe around 200 rupees, and then he will fix a target at 250 or 280 with a risk reward of 1:1. Whereas a scalper, instead of going for a larger target, he will be shooting for like in 10 to 20 points. Instead of one trade, he will be doing 3 trades. So you might be wondering, I can do one trade. Why you wanted to do a 3 trade? When you are a buyer, you know there are instances when you're playing in the options, especially the market tends to go up and then quickly retraces, and then again it tends to go up, or sometimes it doesn't go up again at all. So imagine if you're a player who's exactly looking for a 60 or 70 points, sometimes your target may not get hit. But as a scalper, your advantage is getting and scalping those 20 points. And if you're getting another opportunity, you will be able to scalp for another 20 points as and when it happens. Even if it doesn't happen, you know that at least you are able to scalp 20 points on that particular day. More importantly, your mind will be at ease rather than when 90% of the traders, if you ask them, and how was your trading day today? It was very stressful. Why? Because they would have bought something and then holding it for a long time. And especially the ones who are holding it for overnight, they will be looking at the SGX Nifty, they will be looking at the Dow, how it closing and so on. But in scalping, you don't require anything because all your action is going to get completed within 3 to 5 minutes or maximum of 30 minutes. So that's the advantage of being in scalper. You can enter, exit based on your indicators and based on the chart setup which you're using, looking at the data, particular time, enter, exit with a quick profit, and then get out of the trades.
Okay, so regarding the underlying, so on which underlying do you trade mostly for scalping?
Okay, so especially for a player like us, Bank Nifty gives an advantage of like in a large index move, even in a 3 minute or 1 minute or a 5 minute time frame. So Bank Nifty is my preferable choice, and the reason is even in a single candle, you will sometimes get like in 30 points or 100 points or 200 points. If you look at the current market volatile situations, you are easily able to pocket even 100 points in a single candle. So especially in options, so Bank Nifty is my preferable underlying.
Hi Shiv, it was great to hear your experience. As far as scalping is considered in options, can you please tell me how do you select the strike?
Okay. Yeah, the most important element is, especially if you're a scalper, especially being an option buying, if you're a scalper, then you needed to play to your strength rather than to play to your seller's strength. Where the sellers have an advantage, the sellers have an advantage at the OTM strikes. As a buyer, if you are trying to play in the money and at the money, you have more advantage. Say, for example, if you are playing with a delta of more than 0.75, so whenever a Bank Nifty futures or like index moves 1 point, you are bound to get 75 paise in that. So rather than playing in an OTM where you tend to get 20 or 25 paise for every rupee move, if you are trying to play in the money and at the money, it makes more sense. When I'm talking about in the money and at the money, so normally on Fridays, you can look at the money. So on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesdays, in the money and deep in the money makes sense. When I say deep in the money, even when the IV levels are around 20, 25, you can look at the strikes somewhere around 300 to 500 range, wherein you will see whenever the Bank Nifty moves 1 point up, you will at least get 75 paise in those strikes, because the delta is going to be around 75 to 80 or 85. Sometimes you can also get 90 paise delta. So that is going to be an advantage. Don't chase the OTM, because OTM is purely meant for the sellers. And especially if you're a scalper, if you get stuck in a position and if you're not going to be getting an exit, and if you're trying to average your position, then you will be getting stuck. So always use a simple solution is go look for delta, which is having 7.75 and above, and then play in that. Even I wouldn't be like in going too far in terms of the premium, say for example 800, 900, especially in a dull market, because you are not going to get the liquidity. For a scalper, you need the liquidity as well. If you're going to get into a trade with a high volume, maybe around 2,000 quantity or 3,000 quantity, if you don't want to have any slippages, the best is to go somewhere around 400 to 500 range. And if the market is trading nearby to any round strike, when I say round strike, if the market is trading around 34,800 or 34,900, I will look for 34,500. If you are playing on the put side, then you can look at 35,000 put. So that's the way I will be choosing the strike. So delta is going to be the key for me.
Great.
Okay. So now that you said that, you're looking at in the money and mostly at the money and or in the money for using scalping. As just for curiosity's sake, I'm asking, can we do the same thing with option sellers? Can also do scalping? Can an option seller also get into scalping and just do the same strategy in out of the money contracts?
Absolutely,
So buy trigger. So for long Nifty, or Bank Nifty, so you instead of buying a call at the money, they will just go and write out of the money put.
Absolutely, sir. That is very much possible. And in fact, there are like a few sellers whom I know. They also go and play on in the money and at the money itself. Even they don't care about the delta, because they know if I'm going with a large quantity scalping and selling, even I will be able to get 25 paise, 30 paise for every move, or like a 1 rupee per, like an 80 paise per move if I'm playing in the money and at the money. That only thing which you needed to identify is if the trend is very much evident. So say for example, today buying is completely happening on the upside. Imagine the market is continuously moving up, and then the call buyers are there on the call side and the sellers are there on the put side. There are like a few genuine sellers who do it in the money and at the money, looking at the delta. But OTMs, as you said, it is the most preferable choice. At least you are playing with the theta, so and you're not going to be getting penalized much faster.
Yes. Right. So true.
So yeah, since you talked about like taking entry in scalping, so like how do you take the entry? What all are the indicators or candles that you look about while taking entry? Because it involves like entering at the right time and also exiting at the right time, right? Because otherwise there might be huge losses. So how do you decide the entry, and what all are the indicators that you use while taking an entry for scalping?
Absolutely. So, as an option scalper, we should try to create a perfect trade setup with a proper entry, stop loss, trailing stop loss, and other thing. But to do an entry, what are the things which I will normally look for? I needed a proper setup for me to enter. I cannot blindly enter anytime during the day. Many people think that just because he is a scalper, you will be doing the trade whole day. No, not necessary. All we need is one or two good trades in a day to achieve our intraday target. I keep 1% intraday target to myself based on the capital I deploy. To achieve that 1%, all you require is one or two good trades, and if the system is giving you the right opportunity, you should be able to do it. In my scenario, what are the trade setup which I normally use? I use the two candle theory. What is a two candle theory? When a particular index, either a Nifty or the Bank Nifty, moving up or down, imagine if the market is moving up today, I would be looking for two consecutive candles of more than 50K on the Bank Nifty and 125K on the Nifty. Once I'm able to see that, yes, the volume is picking up, now I will be looking at whether the RSI is moving higher. Whether the RSI is around 50 to 75 range. Yes, it is not in an overbought or not in extremely oversold or not in a consolidation range. If it is between 50 and 75, with the volume above 50K for two consecutive bars, and I use basic indicators like the VWAP, the WMA, and then the super trend. If all of these guys are giving the buy signal for me, then I will go ahead and buy. With the third candle entry as my entry, and the first candle low will be my stop loss. So from the first candle low, we can keep an 1:1 risk reward and then get an exit as well. So this is a pretty simple setup. This is the most basic one which I use, wherein 80 to 90% of the time I've achieved success in that. And then the another one which we use is the support trades. Imagine if I'm unable to enter into this particular setup. I miss this entry. So where exactly my next trade is going to be available? If the next trade is going to be available, I'll be looking for a super trend support trade. So I use these three indicators, the WMA, the super trend, and then the VWAP. So the WMA will be my weak first support, and then the super trend, which is like in a mid and a strong support, and VWAP, which is my most crucial indicator on the intraday charts, which is a strong support. So if the first entry will be between the WMA and the super trend. If the market is like in having a retracement move back, I'll be looking for a support trade at the super trend, and I will be looking for another scalping opportunity over there. So one is on the two candle, another one is on the super trend, and then the third one will be on the VWAP. In case if the market is trying to correct again, provided the global markets are not falling that much, and then you are not getting to see the VIX is falling that much, VIX is rising that much, and if you are getting the candle closer to the VWAP, taking a support with the minimal volume, then I will go and take a support trade as well. So these are simple things which can give you like an easy 1% return in an intraday trade.
Right. Shiva, you spoke about the indicators. What about the time frame? So these indicators, at what time frame would you be implementing them?
Okay, so normally as a scalper, you can try 3 minute and 5 minute time frame, which is very much suitable. Many people ask me, Shiva, can I go ahead and do it in 1 minute time frame? 1 minute time frame is normally very fast for the signals and everything. By the time you react, the market tend to move faster. 3 minute and 5 minutes is ideal. And especially people who are not comfortable with the volatility, they can stick with Nifty rather than moving into the Bank Nifty. Bank Nifty tends to have a huge amount of move in a single 3 minute candle or a 5 minute candle, whereas the Nifty can hardly move like in 20, 30 points. Someone who is getting into the scalping, who can try it in Nifty first before moving into the Bank Nifty, considering the volatility.
Right.
So, as we now talking about the options, can you please tell me that how do you analyze the open interest?
Okay. So open interest is going to be my, like, and I consider open interest next to God. So what is open interest? First of all, the open interest is nothing but the open interest position that's getting created in the FNO space. Especially in the options, I needed to know, since in the option space, the sellers are the ones who have been creating this open interest. I needed to know where exactly their interest lies. You will have the sellers creating the positions both on the call side and the put side. But there will be a bigger community who is going to be concentrating on a particular direction. Day like today, if someone who would have traded today, they would have been knowing both the call and the put premiums were been crashing from the morning. Only the sellers were able to enjoy the money. Whereas yesterday, we were very clear that the market was absolutely moving higher and higher. And if you'd have looked at the OI data on the put side was continuously keep rising compared to the call side. So when you see that the sellers are mostly dominating on the sell side, we know that the sellers are hardly creating any positions on the call side, and it is in a demand. So then I look at the call side where we have the long build-up. So there are 4 quadrants which we consider: long build-up, short covering, long unwinding. What is a long build-up? When the market moves higher, the premium moves higher, and then the OI also moves higher. This is an example when the market moving higher. So in that scenario, you will see the call build-up, open interest moving higher. When you have a demand, you will see both the price and the OI moving higher. When I have 50% increase in OI, 50% increase in price on a particular strike, which is nearby to the at the money or in the money, that is the area wherein I will try to go and buy. Because on the OI spuds data, if these guys are trying to take it higher, that means there is a demand available. You needed to keep tracking this OI spuds data, which is going to be giving you a clue whether this has a potential to move higher or not. And every 30 minutes, if the OI spuds is showing you further increase in OI, further increase in price, that means the momentum is going to be continued over there. And on the chart indicators, look at whether it is able to stay above the VWAP, super trend, and all these. If it is able to stay above the VWAP, super trend, and all this, you will continue to see the momentum moving higher and higher. So this is how I analyze the OI. And as in buyer, I will be sticking to quadrant 1 and 3, which is nothing but the long build-up and short covering category. If you are a seller, stick to 2 and 4, which is short build-up and long unwinding category.
तो कितना प्रॉफिट लेना चाहिए शिवा भाई? इसमें let's say for example if someone is using 3 मिनट का कैंडल 3 मिनट का कैंडल में कितना प्रॉफिट लेके निकल जाना चाहिए? बाई आया, बाई कर लिया, अभी प्रॉफिट कितना लूं? निफ्टी
Okay.
बैंक निफ्टी
So
में
I'll just give you a small example, Sanka. Like, and there are days, especially on expiry day, on a 3 minute candle, you will normally tend to get even 100 points in a normal 3 minute candle. But there are days on, like, say, for example, Friday, Monday, and so on, you will be getting only 20, 30 points on a single 3 minute candle. Again, it depends upon the market move and the volatility. More the volume you see in a particular candle, you will be seeing certain algo bars coming and doing it. Uh, what is this algo bars? You will be getting to see the basket order getting filled across all the banks and then the futures and then the options everywhere. So when that happens, you will see 100-point move happening pretty quick. But there are days wherein you will see hardly any moves happening. In those candles, you will be getting 10, 20 points. But we are prepared for everything.
Okay.
So, according to you, what are the common mistakes an option scalper make in the beginning of his career or the beginning of the trading session he had in his life?
Okay. So the most important thing is many traders fail. The reason is they tend to hold the winning trades. Like, say, for example, if the trade is going in their favor and if they don't trail it, they normally lose the profit, whatever that they see in the screen. You would have seen sometimes the buyer would have bought it and you would have seen a M2M of like in 10K or 5K. But what does this mind is thinking is, okay, now I'm seeing M2M of like in 10K. Can I hold it for a few more minutes? And it can go to 15K or 20K. Already you would have got a risk reward of more than 1:1. But 90% of the time, they doesn't want to accept that we got a better deal. They wanted to see a better deal on intraday. In that process, the M2M will swing from 10K to 5K to flat territory. Then you will realize, oh shit, man, I should have booked my profit at the 10K. Now I'm holding it. Okay, let me hold it for some more time. Again, it may go to 10K. Let me book my profit. But in that process, if the market is moving downside, then you will start to panic. That is when most of the traders tend to think that, okay, let me average my position now. Once it moves lower by another 2, 3K, they will add more position. Completely losing the risk management and the position sizing, they will start to add more position. And by the time they realize, they would have deployed their entire capital. Most traders who come into the scalping or in the trading, instead of using the entire, like in the 10 to 20% of their capital, they deploy an entire capital in one single trade. If you look at all the great traders who are out there, they don't deploy their entire capital in one single trade. They normally go with 10%, 20%, see how it works out. Even with the 10%, 20%, you should still be able to achieve your target. Not necessarily you should deploy your entire capital. And the most important thing, the scalping and the day trading requires you to take a quick decision and it requires a lot of discipline. Many people think I have been deployed or employed in a job to do the trading between 9:15 to 3:30. No, not necessary. You're taking your own free decision. No one is forcing your hand to go into the keypad to type the numbers to enter into like in how many quantities you want and buy at every candle. Nobody does that. You needed to be confident about your setup. You need to know when to enter, when not to enter, and most important thing is take a quick decision when the signal or when you're seeing the right setup giving you an opportunity to enter. 90% of the time, most traders say at the end of the day, I could have easily entered here, I could have easily exited here. It's post-mortem, it's always been done. But what you do and the market, when the signal or like and when the process is giving you a signal to go and take a trade, if you are not able to do it, then that will be a problem. And another important thing is many traders initially lack the ability to make the good decision and they make the composure is like a loss and they go against the trade. Even though you know sometimes this trade is going to go against you. Many traders feel I think I can take the market on the opposite direction also. If I buy, the market will move. If I buy, I will be able to take a support trade. They just go by the intuition without looking at the data. Data plays a major role, and they needed to understand okay, if I'm taking a trade, the data has to back me, and then I will pick and choose this trade and then go. So for me, the skill, discipline, and the execution combining with taking a quick trading decision will definitely improve the trading methods. And this is where most traders tend to fail actually.
I think one of the reasons people fail, Shiva, so that quick decision which you spoke about, especially if I have to trade in intraday or I'm doing a scalping, the reason is they put in a lot of complicated indicators. and they have a lot of strategies. Your RSI is selling sell, MACD is telling you buy, and I think I should buy now. By this confusion, by the time market actually moves, and then they start actually. That's what used to happen with me also earlier. So I think things should be kept very simple, and the reason why we should keep it simple is the decision then becomes very fast,
True.
isn't it?
You rightly pointed out, Santa, because that is something which is very critical for any day trader or a scalper. Because unless and until you have a setup which is going to be very neat and simple, you will try to complicate things. Market is a pretty easy place. Many people say like, and the money making in the market is a easy way to make money, but it is a hard way to make money in easy money. So you needed to see what is the target with which you wanted to get into the market. Imagine if I'm a trader who is getting into the market with 1 lakh capital, I needed to decide myself in the morning itself. Okay, today, no matter what, either I make 1,000 rupees profit or 1,000 rupees loss, I'm going to be shutting my system. And if you're able to follow that with discipline, I'm telling you, most of the traders, that's where they lack. They make 1,000, they go to 5,000, they go to 10,000, then they keep extrapolating the things on the days to come. Once you achieve a fixed target, they think that, no, now today I have achieved 2,000 with 1 lakh. Tomorrow I can do 5,000 with 1 lakh. Day after tomorrow, 10,000. You are setting a benchmark, which is going to be very difficult. You cannot be keep increasing your target just because you achieved it yesterday. There would be days, yes, the market would reward you big. Maybe like an out of the moon, you will definitely get one trade wherein immediately it shoots up and you get 5K or 10K with 1 lakh capital. But that's not going to happen every day. And don't try to think that just because you achieve the target one day, you needed to do the same thing again and again and again. Keep a realistic target and approach it with discipline, and you will be able to be consistent. Be it a profit, be it a loss, accept it. Today is not your day. Close the system, come back next day. Rather than fighting with the market, taking a revenge trade, losing your capital, the best thing is try to close the system, come back with a fresh mind in the following day, and then take a trading decision.
I think, Shiva, you pointed out the very right point here. When it comes to loss, we'll take up to 5,000, 6,000, or we'll wait for the market to close and carry forward our position, our scalping position. But when it comes to profit, we'll book at 1,000 rupees. And then we'll say, Arey, loss hi ho raha hai mera overall portfolio mein. So you pointed it right. If you're taking a loss of 1,000, a profit of 1,000, take a loss of 1,000 and shut your system. And if shutting the system actually helps us in detaching ourselves from our trade emotionally. So
That's
I think
that's right, Sankar. Because many traders think that it has become a full-time job for them. Okay, they know it is a job, but if you're treating trading as a business, you need to accept that as a business you will face profits, you will face some losses as well. Sometimes you may not be getting the right orders, you may not be selling your orders, and you will have a lot of stocks getting in your godown. You needed to pay the salaries and the overheads and other things. Similarly, in the market as well, there are days wherein you will make profit, there are days wherein you will make loss, there are days wherein you will not make anything. Treat everything at the same length. And the most important thing, any traders who are coming into the market thinking that I wanted to run my family, pay my bills using the money that I'm going to be earning from the market, that is the biggest mistake which most of us have done it, including me. When I started initially, I thought I'm going to be getting a passive income, and then I started increasing my lifestyle based on that. What am I doing? I am putting more pressure on myself, not only to earn from the company, but also to earn from the market. Any money which you can afford to lose, then you bring that to the market. Otherwise, don't even get into the FNO space, because that's not an ideal place for you to venture out.
Yeah, wonderfully explained, Shiva. So, to audience, if you have any questions to Shiva, so you can directly ping me, Shankar, or Rajat. We'll be happy to pass on to Shiva. Just so, regarding this scalping, and if a beginner trader is there who just wants to get into it, so how much capital should he start with? And how should he manage his position sizing, as you explained?
Okay, so this is most of the things which I share it with the mentees as well. It's not necessary we should be bringing in large capital to start trading in the markets. Many people have the myth to say that only the large traders make money in the market. It's not the large traders who make money in the market. It is the most disciplined trader who makes the money in the market. So a guy with a 1 lakh or a 50 lakh, if he doesn't have a discipline, both can lose that 1 lakh and 50 lakh in a single day. So all you need is just come in with a small capital. If you're trying in the option buying space, especially in the scalping, even with 25k capital, you can just play with one lot, play with a setup which gives you the result, and also test it for over a period of time. Don't try to think that okay, just one day you have achieved the success, next day I can increase my capital from 25 to 50,000, or like from 25 to 2.5 lakhs or 5 lakhs. That is a wrong way to do it. First, bring a capital which is 25,000. Understand that yes, what are the things which you're going to be doing it, whether you're going to be doing it with discipline, and follow the process for a period of 3 months and review your performance. Out of 60 trading days, how many trading days you were be profitable? Imagine out of 60, you are able to be profitable with 50 days and you achieved 1%. The remaining 10 days, you lost close to 12 to 15%. Maybe like in 1.5%, 2% a day, wherein in 10 days you would have lost it. Imagine you would have lost 15 to 20%. Then that is a very good success ratio. But most traders, what they do is they would have had a good history of like in maintaining for 50 days a good success rate. The remaining 10 days, they would have lost more than 80% of their capital. That means you are not following the process which you have said. When the winning day, you are getting out with 1%. But on a losing day, you're tending to lose more than 10-20% on a single trade. That is what is going to affect you. So try not to lose beyond 2 to 3% in a single day. Then you will definitely see a period of where you will see a growth. And at the same time, imagine if you are consistent for a period of 5 months, you will double your capital, which you will not be able to do it in any other processes. So you're going to be doubling your capital if you're very consistent in a period of 3 to 6 months. Then you can take the capital out, play with the profits. That will give you a lot of confidence. So initially, try with a small 1 to 2 lots, see your performance for 3 months, see whether you are able to be consistent. If you are not consistent, continue with the same 1 to 2 lot for the next 3 months. Only when you see the consistency, then increase the capital size, maybe from 25 to 50, 50 to 100, 100 to 200. Just slowly take one step at a time. Don't go from 25 to 2.5 or 25 to 10 lakh just because you saw 1 month of profit. That's where most traders lose it, because they don't get to see the complete market patterns. Imagine a guy who came into the market during the 2020 crisis. Every fall, you would have bought it. You would have seen the market like in reaping rewards, big rewards. But if you ask the same guy in the last 3 months, you'd be saying this market is absolutely treacherous because I'm unable to see the bounce happening. It is moving intraday. I'm getting to see a swing happening on both the sides. Couple of expiries back, we saw that. I don't know how many of you would have experienced it. Even in my 15 years of life, I haven't seen the VWAP getting tested at least for 3 or 4 times in a single day. And
even today and yesterday. Yesterday, though, it was crazy.
Yeah, yesterday also it went so rapidly on a vertical fall and then a vertical rise. Many traders would have felt, okay, the 16,000 is back on cards, but they literally went and closed the gap at 16,180 and almost closed it there.
Absolutely.
So, Shiva, most of our audience just got a general idea that what is scalping. So, can you just tell us that is scalping a impulsive, or do you need to be patient in your trading, as you have just discussed about a discipline?
Okay, so many think that scalping is like being impulsive. You needed to be really fast. You needed to be quickly thinking. You needed to always be on the keyboard and other things. For me, scalping is more about being like an eagle. You just needed to be looking at your prey from 1,000 feet above, and you needed to know when to go on attack and then come back there. So normally that's the way the scalper's mindset is. Before getting into a trade, always put it in your mind. Whatever the trade which I'm going to be getting in, this is going to be my stop loss. This is the level at which I'm entering. This is my stop loss. And if the stop loss is getting broken, maybe 5-10% I will hold it. If not, I will exit it immediately. And the most important thing, once the trend is in your favor, try to ride the trend. And when it is above your break-even price, try to trail your profits. That's the most important aspect. If you're a scalper, because the scalping, 90% of the days you will see a zigzag move. And when it is a zigzag, you can easily get the 40 points and then the market can move, take away all your 40 points. So if you're a scalper, be consistent and take the 40 points, accept it. Even after the 40 points, the market might rally for another 100 points. Forget it. Most traders think that they exactly wanted to buy it at the bottom and then sell it at the top. That's not going to happen. No one can do that. And if you happen to buy it at the bottom and sell it at the top of 1-2 times, you must be like in really praising yourself. But that's not going to happen every now and then. So whatever the method which you're following, follow it with discipline and adjust the risk and then take the trades along with the trend. Most important thing, always look for the patterns and then adapt to that. Imagine in a particular week, you will see overnight players making money because every day you will see a gap down or a gap up, and then the market would reward the overnight players, and in the morning you will see and hardly any move. Then in that scenario, as an intraday player, you will not be able to make money. Stay light in this week. When there is a move happening in the following week, just try to accept that this is a week for me and I needed to make it. So how to identify that? That is where you needed to be looking at the IV values, you needed to be looking at the chart patterns and how the performance of this particular market in the past period. All those things will gain through the experience. That is something which you needed to do it. And most importantly, as a scalper, put or use the terminals which is user friendly for you. You needed to be comfortable with the system which you are using. Don't try to use any platform which you are not comfortable. So always use a trading platform or a mobile app which is comfortable to you, so that it eases your pressure as well. Because if you are comfortable placing an order in a terminal, then you know, okay, I can enter and exit at will, and I know this is the time at which I needed to do it. So if you are able to focus on these 3 elements or 4 elements, I think preferably after 6 months you will see a drastic improvement in your performance.
Okay, so I'm asking this question according to a retailer prospects. If I'm ask you that if a small retailer who is being indulged in intraday trades
Mhm.
and would like to go to the scalping, which is used in the shorter duration of the time, so
Correct.
how is profitable for a small retailer in every prospect, like when a brokerage is concerned, when a transaction charges are concerned?
Okay. So earlier, if you would have been asking me in 2008, 10, and 12, those times, even buying a one lot, we will be paying around 80 to 100 rupees per lot. Nowadays, there are a lot of discount brokers who are offering at 20 rupees, and there are brokers who offer that like an unlimited trade plan and other thing. Choose a broker who is giving you unlimited trade plan or like in a 20 rupee plan where you can place one order at 20 rupees, or like you can place an unlimited order. In that scenario, you're not going to be worried about the brokerage. Next thing,
How
you are
about
going to
10 rupees? How about 10 rupees brokerage plans? Are they good?
like anything which is like comfortable with the user has to be fine. Shankar, I think.
I was just joke. I just spoke about it because we are providing at 10 rupees brokerage per
Okay.
order.
So then you guys are there, like I'm really looking to attract the customers, because that is something which the customers also needed it for scalping, right? Because
Yes.
as far as scalping, your charges needed to be lower. Then what is the difference between a guy who's holding a longer trade to you? So the guy is going to be making one trade if he's an intraday trader. As a scalper, you will be doing 3 trades. That means your brokerage will be like in 3x of that particular trader. So though your risk reward is going to be little favorable to you compared to him, because is more the time you are holding in an option buying, more the possibility of you losing big or you winning big. So as a scalper, your winning probability is also low. The ratio is going to be equal whether you are losing or like in a winning. Maybe 20 points on the upside, 20 points on the downside. You will quickly be able to take a decision, and it will be stress free. 90% of the time, most traders get stressed out because more the time their positions are there, they will be saying, I don't know whether the market will be moving. I don't know. I can't hold it. Even including me, the reason why I chose scalping is if I take a position, my heart will be pumping more and my hands will be itchy, and I cannot be sitting and looking at the screen. I will be looking to see whether it is going to be going and hitting my target or it is going to hit my stop loss. And more the time it is going to be stuck in a particular range. On that particular day, if the IV is like not going to be in your favor, then you are definitely going to be losing more. So when considering all these aspects, if you are thinking about brokerage and other things, that is for me is a secondary, because there are a lot of good platforms which has come in like the Paytm and others. So choose a broker who is giving you the discounted rates on the brokerage, and then stick to the process with discipline. You will definitely, I don't think the charges is going to be like having an impact at all. Even for a small retailers, even in the past for me, it has worked out very well. Probably if I'm earning 10 rupees, including all the charges and other things, I pay around like 2 rupee per the 10 rupee, then it makes sense for me. Still I'm taking home 8 rupees, so that's absolutely fine with me.
Wonderful. So, I have one question from our audience also. I think
Audience, yes.
we may have You have answered that, but yeah, he's saying like in your introductory comment, you said like as an option buyer, we need to understand if it is the right time to trade the market, or is it a market where we need to sit out. So how do you determine that? So this was his question.
Okay, so imagine if I needed to know whether the market is going to be giving me a reward today morning, like, and if you'd have seen it, the market has been having a non-stop rally for almost 4 5 days now, and it has filled all the necessary gaps, and it is almost in the threshold of like in getting into the overbought territory. Though on the RSI, it was not on the overbought territory, but considering whether after the morning move, it had a gap up of more than 100 points after the morning move, whether the market is able to sustain and hold that morning level. Imagine if I wanted to become an intraday buyer today, I would have definitely looked at the top today, which got created at around 10 o'clock. If these guys were able to like and make the market move above that level, then yes, you could have seen further rally happening. If you're seeing exhaustion at the higher level, then probably there is something which we needed to understand. The market has been at a tired and you're not seeing enough volumes coming in. And moreover, you didn't get the global cues also on your side. Today, if you would have been looking at the Dow futures, it was falling continuously. And we can't be outperforming the market every now and then. And the crude was also rising yesterday night. The dollar index is back again at 107. So, which is not a favorable sign for you to go and book a long. And at the same time, there are a few things which is also telling me, Shiva, don't be short. What are the things? The VIX was continuously falling for the last 1 week from 25, 22, 20, and today it almost went into 18 odd range, right? So when you know there are divergent signals between the global market and our market, and if our market is not able to listen to the global markets, that means a clear divergence which is emerging. In those scenarios, try to avoid it. This is how I identify the patterns and look for whether all the dots are connecting to me to go on a long trade or a short trade. And if you look at the IV data also today, at the money and in the money strikes, both the sides it was trading around 2020. Whenever you see the IV levels around the same level on both call and the put, you get to see more of premium erosion. That's a day for the sellers. You give it to them. Don't try to fight with them.
Yes. Shiva, we got a question from the audience.
Mm-hmm.
So RP Hans asked this. Can we use retracement concept in scalping in place of entering at the breakout of the price?
Sorry, you needed to repeat the question, Sankar. I didn't get it.
Okay. Can we use retracement concept in scalping in place of entering at the breakout of the price?
Absolutely, yes. Because we normally use the support and resistance to an extent, and if you feel that there is a breakout which is happening above the retracement and so on, definitely yes, that will be a golden opportunity because that will be considered as a breakout trade. I consider there are 3 or 4 setters which I use. One is the breakout, which is the nothing but the 2 candle theory, and then I use the support and resistance. We also look for the open and high concept, and then we also look for the intraday breakout, which is happening on a particular index or anything or a particular stock. Then we go and take a trade on that. Definitely, yes, that can be done.
Great. So, one question which is there in my mind. You spoke about trailing stop loss. Mm-hmm. So, how do we use trailing stop loss in scalping? Every person has their own, but something which you can tell us for the beginners how they should actually look at using trust model.
Okay, so what is trailing stop loss? Once you are in a profit or once you know that the market has given you the reward, you wanted to extend it. You don't want to miss the rally wherever it goes. Imagine you are buying it at around 200 and initially you are placing your stop loss at around 180 with the target at 220. And then the market moves to 210. You can move your stop loss to 200 so that your capital is now protected. Once it goes to 220, now you know that the target is achieved. You can definitely book your target, get to 1:1 and then get out. But you feel this market has more legs to go. Then what you can do is you can keep your a trailing stop loss at 210 and then hold the trade. Once it goes to through 230, keep a 10 rupee difference. Keep trailing it if you are playing between the 200 to 500 rupee range. Now you can place it at 220. You have an option here that you can book your 1:1 risk reward or you can continue to hold your position. Now it is trading at 230. For some reason, it might retrace back to 225. Again, it goes to 235. Then you can raise your bar to 230 and put your stop loss over there. So what you can do is, in this process, you're not only getting your 1:1, you're also going to be getting more than the reward what you wanted it. There are days when the trending day happens, you will tend to get this. But this is not going to be happening every now and then. Most important thing is I normally get into, once I'm getting into like an above my break even price, I immediately trail it. So trailing in scalping is very much important, but many traders will feel that once I start to trail, it immediately hits my trailing stop loss and then the market moves up. One way you will be like a little disheartened, but imagine if the market is breaking down from the level at which you bought, then you would be thanking yourself that just because of trailing the profits, I was at least able to pocket 20 or 30 rupees. Imagine if you would not trailed it, you would have not only lost the profit which we would have seen on the screen, you would have been sitting on a huge loss as well. So this is how I normally do the trailing stop loss.
Okay. So there was a question from the audience. I think that got answered about the stop loss principle. Manas, your question?
Yeah, so I also have one question from the audience. Yeah. So like I think you also talked about it, but this is more about psychology and controlling emotions. So he wants to know how long it takes to develop this psychology and how to control emotions, and like how much time does it take to develop this?
Okay. I think that this is going to be the most interesting aspect, because as a trader, your trading psychology plays a major role compared to whatever the things which you know in the market. We may know everything. We know this is the level at which I needed to enter and everything. But why 90% of the traders still fail? Everybody sees the same screen. You see the same screen, I see the same screen, but you get into a profit, I get into a loss. Why is that? Because when it comes to the execution, you know what you're doing and you are getting into the trade and then executing it. For me, I'm just randomly picking up a trade and then I'm just deploying my capital without even thinking about anything, thinking that this will reward me. But you are going with a plan, telling yourself, Shiva, this is what you are going to be doing. 20 rupee down, I'm going to be exiting. 20 rupee up, I'm going to be booking my profit and get out X. But as a trader, sometimes what we do, our greed comes into the picture. When the market moves 230, 220, you think that now I have got my 1% reward. What if I can get more than this? Because I'm expecting this market to keep moving higher. Yesterday, if someone would have played on the call side, in the afternoon around 11 to 1, they would have been rewarded. If they would have been holding that trade between 1 to 2, they would have literally not only wiped their profits, they would have literally seen their like in be getting into a big like in a loss. Then immediately they would panic. That is where the mind trend to like and completely get into a revenge mode. Then what do you think is you book your loss on the call side and then go and take a put trade, thinking that the market is going to be falling. But unfortunately, the data was not supporting for the fall. Immediately, the put side position, whatever which you would have taken, it would have also resulted in a loss. And then the market would have again moved up on the upside. Then you would have felt bad. Oh shit, man, I should have holded my call trade. I should have booked the profit first time. Now I would have got a second opportunity. Now I lost all the opportunities. I made a loss in the call side. I made a loss in the put side. Now I don't have a capital to enter into the trade, or you will not have the confidence to enter into the third trade. So that is where most traders lose out. So for me, there are four things which the normal trader needed to do to improve their psychology. One is avoid random trades. Don't hold on to the losing position. Limit your risk. Understand, don't deploy more than 10 to 20% in your any particular trade. Don't overtrade, thinking that you will be able to make millions in a single day itself using your whatever the capital which you have. And you needed to adapt and specialize based on what you see on the screen. Okay, imagine today is not a day for the buyers, accept it, come back on another day. If it is not the day for the sellers, accept it. So you needed to adapt to that, and then stay humble, whether the market whatever that it does, stay humble and take it, whether it is a winning or a losing position, take it both at the same length.
So, right. So, Shiva, that was very nicely explained. And I think one of the ways, I mean, we as traders, at least in the beginning of our trading career, at least, we get trapped by seeing other people. Like, I remember our building secretary the other day went out with me, and we just got up and then we went to our Dudwala, milkman. And Dudwala showed that, sir, I made 5 lakhs today. And he showed me his M to M. So he made 5 lakhs profit. So he went short in crude and made some money. So he showed that.
I think the voice is breaking a bit for me. Please.
Okay. The milkman showed us that he made around 5 lakh 83,000 in one day by shorting crude. So
वो देख के मेरा जो सेक्रेटरी था बिल्डिंग का सोसाइटी का, he became like hyper. Like मुझे भी ट्रेड करना है, मुझे भी ट्रेड करना है. And that's something which many traders get into by looking at other people's profits and how much they're making. So these are once in a blue moon, maybe they are making, or they have a strategy. Without a good strategy, like what Shiva shared, it's very difficult, and you should not venture into this field without a proper strategy and proper guidance. Shiva, any last minute advice you want to give to all our audience today?
Sandra, one point, yeah, as you said, like when you're looking at others M2M, I know like with the social media, and you will get to see a lot of M2Ms getting floated around and other things. In fact, honestly, to say that I started believing in myself only when I saw others able to make money. Many people say like an M2M, it is for a show off and other things. When I started seeing some people making huge profits, the only thing which I took into my confidence is, if this guy is able to make it, then I should also able to make it, find a way how he is doing it, and then try to learn and then do it. Rather than thinking that just because he is making 10 lakh, I needed to compete with him to make 15 lakh, 20 lakh. That is not going to be a good idea. So take it as an inspiration rather than
Yes.
comparing yourself that you wanted to make a similar kind of a profit. And the most
And
important
start
thing,
small. I think starting small is also very important as a beginner.
absolutely, yes. Starting small, first get consistent, create your own rules, because each of you has own unique capabilities. You cannot mimic Shiva, and Shiva cannot mimic you. If Shiva can be a scalper, because he has known that this is his strength and he wanted to play according to his strength. Some of you might be best positional players. Some of you might be the best swing traders. Some of you might be the best option sellers, because you'll have a lot of cushion in terms of understanding the knowledge, holding it. There are players whom I know they are very good in short straddles and strong long straddles, which I can't do it. So understand what is your strength, create your own rules, stick to the rules you create. I know sometimes rules are meant to be broken, but not to be like broken every other day. And you are the winning formula and nobody else is. Put that in mind. Okay, keep putting that in mind. As long as you are understanding that, yes, I have understood the nuances. I'm starting small. I will look for consistency for a period of 3 to 6 months and slowly scale up. I think like after 2 3 years, once they start seeing more and more pattern, they will understand how the market evolves and how the experienced players play, how I'm going to be catching up with them. And don't compare yourself with others M2M. You needed to fight for yourself. Nobody's going to give a single penny in the market. It is you, what you're doing. Whether you win or lose, it's your own money. So take risk according to your strength. Don't try to go and compare and then try to make what to say a big move, which is not going to be an overnight win. It's not going to happen every time. Please understand that.
Very rightfully explained and analyzed. Shiva, thanks a lot for your time which you gave to all of us here. So all the newbies, scalpers or traders who are learners as well as who are professionally following and trading. So thanks a lot to you from all of our side, and have a great weekend ahead.
Thanks, Shankar, and thanks Paytm team. And I think you guys have been amazing. Looking forward to seeing you all pretty soon. Thank you all. Thanks, audience.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Shiva. Thanks a lot.
Shiva. And thank you, Manas, Rajat, Harsh, and all you lovely audience for giving us a here. And hopefully, this today's learning, which was shared to us by Shiva, would enrich your trading pattern. And wish you all the very best. And have a great weekend ahead. All the best. Thank you. Keep following, keep learning.
Thank you all. Thank you all. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Shiva, again.
Thank you.